Alright, how's it going, guys? So I'm gonna make a video real quick on this that I was talking about in the last video. This is gonna be used for our air fuel ratio and our RPM down here. I'm gonna show you guys how I make this. First try for me. I've never done this before. I don't know how well it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it anyways. So I already mounted here. I've got a switch to turn it on and off, and then we've got an air fuel ratio, and then we got an RPM gauge, and then on the four-wheelers I already welded in an O2 bung, and we have them on a couple other four-wheelers. But I have the sensor sitting on here. So here's the sensor that goes to that air fuel ratio wideband. So this will just come out when we're not using it, and we'll put the cap back in here. But I've already plugged that sucker in, powered it up to make sure it works and it's reading right. So now I'm just going to show you guys how I'm going to wire this little box, in case anybody else wants to try it, I guess. I'm just going to wing it, and I'll show you what I do as I go. So here we go. So first thing, I already mounted these gauges. I figure if you don't know how to mount the freaking gauges, then you probably shouldn't be doing this anyways. So we got a switch, both gauges just mounted. This is just a plastic electrical box I bought off Amazon, big enough for the two gauges. I got my soldering and stuff out here, some tools. So here's our power wire. So this is going to come in the top, and then just like your standard trickle charger plug, so that way we can power this off of the charger plugs that we already have on the four-wheelers. This YZ250 doesn't have a battery, so I already tested this by putting it on just a standalone battery, and everything works fine. So that's the power wire that'll be going in, and then all the rest of these wires are to the gauges. Here's the one that plugs into that O2 sensor. This single wire is the sensor for the RPM, power wire, and power wire. So first thing I'll be doing is cutting these down, getting them small enough to fit in here. I'm going to notch part of this box so the wires can nice and clean just run out of it. So we'll have two sets of wires coming out. One will be the power, and the other will be to plug into the sensors. Everything else will be inside. So I'll get you guys set up and we'll get going here. Alright, so I just went ahead and I got my holes cut in the end of this, so you can see once this is all tightened down, the cords will fit right in there, just like that. Nice and clean, it won't pinch it. So then I can wire this whole side up and stuff it in the box here. So we'll set that aside, and we'll actually set this aside too. Here you can see what we got going on in the back. Everything pretty much just plugs right into this. So we're just gonna set this aside. We got one power wire set right here, which goes to, this one is to the wideband. Then this smaller one here goes to our RPM, our tack. So on this one, actually both of these, we don't need all this wire. So this plugs right here. This one goes right here. So all we need of this, these wires all stay inside the box here. I'm gonna leave some extra, kind of like that. So I'm just gonna cut these off right here. This we don't need. So now grab a knife and cut some of the shielding off. Okay, first, the tack. The tack has to have constant power and remote power. So it needs the red and the white tied together. The orange is going to be for dimming the light on it if you turn headlights on, which we don't need. So we're just going to get that out of there. We don't need it. And we'll just go ahead and we'll strip all these. Okay, there's those 3 wires. Let me get a knife for this. Let's just take some of this back here. So on this one, all we need on here is our red and our black wire. These other ones are output wires. We're not going to use them right now, but they're not hurting anything. I'm just going to leave them in here. I'm just going to take a small piece of tape here. Going to get these set back here so they're out of the way. So that's it. We'll strip these. Alright. There, all of our wires are stripped. And then we're going to need our power wire here also. Right here. So now we're going to twist all these, and then I'm just going to tin all the wires. This is an electrical flux, but it works fine. Alright, so now we'll tin all the wires. And once it heats up, This one came unraveled a bit. Alright, so now they're all tinned. These ones down here, the red and the white have to go together, they're power. And then the other power wire to the other gauge, so I'm just going to solder those together. There, connected. And then I'm going to take my other wire here and I'm just going to put them all three together. Boom. Ah. There we go. Alright, so those three are all together. Then our grounds will go together. Trying to get these nice and tight and small. Okay, there's our grounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up having all this in here. Our ground is going to tie in with this ground. I'm going to crimp it all together. Our power wire is going to go on here. The fed power is going to go on here. And then our other power will go in the middle. And that's it for those. Shut this off. Set that over the way to cool. We grab a couple connectors here. Alright, so I want to make sure that these can't touch. So supply voltage goes right here. So we're just going to go ahead and crimp this sucker on. I like to use the smallest one you can put on the wire. There we go. Crimp this sucker. Alright, so that's power. It's going to be our supply. So that's all that wire gets. Next thing is going to be the power coming out. We'll just use another one of these suckers. Alright, so that's power to our gauges. And then the next thing will be this ground, which all need to go together. So I hope that this thing will fit. There we go. So that's all of our grounds tied together. Good crimp. All right, so that is everything plugged in for power. So that's it. That's for wiring. That's all there is. Now all we have to do, we'll take our wire that goes to the O2 sensor, we'll plug it in. So that's in. And I'm gonna do another loop with that too, because I want to leave some extra wire. The next wire, this will be the wire that you hook up to your coil or whatever so that you get an RPM signal. So we'll plug this in. Plugs right in the gauge, and this is going to go with the other sensor wire. So I'm just going to take another piece of tape here. When I tighten this down, I don't want any sharp edges on any of the wires. There's just a little piece of tape. I'm going to run this along here. Just like that. And so then when I push the covers together, I'll sandwich it right there. This wire will go on the other side, and that's it. This thing's done. So let's button it up. This actually goes, we'll run this to the other side. I'm working upside down here. Alright, so this is going to go just right over here. This one right here. So we set this down in here. That one's right in there. Scoot this one over, push some slack in, and that's it. Let's put our screws back in. Alright, done. Sensor wires, power wires. So, set that down. So I'm going to plug this into the clamps. We'll go power this thing on so you guys can see that it works, or I can see that it works. So let's go take a look. So I got that already on the four-wheeler in here. I just got a car battery sitting here. We've got a huge mess. So I'm just gonna set the box down. On this pile here. Stretch these out. So as you see, we got plenty here to reach the four-wheeler. And we're just gonna plug it in. Alright, so that's plugged in. Crank it up over the handlebars. Power wires. Power wires, we're gonna just hook up right here to this battery. Because I mean, this four-wheeler doesn't have a battery on it, so. Alright. So we have power. So then let's flip our switch on. And we have power. Looks kind of strange on the video right now, but you can see we're getting wideband readings, which is just straight air, and our RPM signal's not on the machine, it's just laying on the ground. But as you see, it works. If I started this up right now, we do have good readings coming off of this. When you turn your air fuel mixture screw while it's idling, you can watch this change. We'll just flip it off. Done. And like I said, this plug here, we can plug that into your plug on your four-wheeler or whatever for your battery charger. All right, so we tried this idling, and the plan is we're gonna have this box sitting right up here on the handlebars, and then we'll just go take it for a ride and maybe have the GoPro mounted to your chest or something. We know we got to have the four-wheeler under load to tune it, but then we'll have an RPM and we'll have your fuel readings while you're riding it. We'll go on the road and take a poll or something, come back and watch the video, do some tuning. It's better than nothing. It's no dyno, but I mean, it's better than just going by feel is what we're figuring, and it's pretty cool. So on the four-wheeler videos, we'll actually hook this up and use it. But for now, you guys see how I did it. If you want to make one, try one, let me know what you think. Stay tuned for the next video. Subscribe. See ya.